Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world. There's nothing to it. Hurry up, Violet.
This way, Grandpa.
There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world. There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Chuck Bauer, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of this congregation. Welcome to you all. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart is a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. That's our mission. If you would like to learn more about this fellowship, please join us, or please look at our website at uufe.org and join us after the service for our coffee hour in the building at the far end in the gathering place. For the listening enjoyment of all, we ask you at this time to turn off all cell phones. And if you need hearing support, please ask for help back here in the corner at our sound desk. Thank you. I have a few quick announcements. First, we're going to try and organize a cleanup, weeding and grounds cleanup for Monday, June 30th. We'll probably start, I'm going to guess about 9 o'clock. And if you want to get here earlier, that's fine. But We're trying to get past most of this heat wave that's coming to us right now. And I'll have an update in the Monday or weekly email for Ron tomorrow. We're also going to turn on next weekend on Sunday, after Sunday, our security system. So I'm going to be passing out access codes and also 4-digit access codes for the alarm panel. And I'm going to be emailing those to those people I know have keys or who have talked to me and have said they have a key. You still need a key to get in the building, but you'll also need an access code when you come in, if you're the first person, to turn off the alarm. And when you leave, if you're the last person, to turn it back on. We don't have a worship service July 6th. We're having a picnic here on the grounds at 11 a.m. and weather will dictate whether we will be inside or we'll be out on the lawn. Sandwiches and drinks will be provided. Bring a dish as you would for potluck and any yard games if you desire. And if you have any questions, contact a member of the worship committee. That would be Steve, Janelle, and Sherry, and Joan, and Pam. Oh yes, and Pam Wycliffe. The kids are continuing to collect money and physical items for their Humane Society of Elkhart project.
This is the last weekend.
Oh, and this is the last weekend. Okay. Monetary donations will go to purchase items from the Chewy.com wish list that's with the Humane Society. Physical items can include used towels, blankets, leashes, and collars. They cannot accept zippered or knit items of any kind. The box for this project is in the entrance right here by Ivy Island, just on the other side of the doors to this room. All items will be delivered to the Humane Society when the kids visit the facility sometime this summer. And thanks for supporting and helping our children serve our community.
We ring the gong 3 times, once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those who are here now. And once for those who will come after us and build on the dream. I'm obviously not Janelle Crump, I'm Steve Kripe, but I'm honored to take her place this morning. She is not feeling well, so keep her in your thoughts, as well as Joan. We light the chalice this morning. This is by Bruce Southworth, and Janelle added some of her comments. For the gifts of this day and for our community of spiritual nurture and compassion, we give thanks. We light this chalice as a symbol of our faith, of our many faiths, of our faith in each other. May our many sparks meet and merge in communion of heart and soul. Would you recite with me now our unison covenant as written on the order of service? Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for coming. Why do we love stories? What is it inside human beings that hungers to hear tales about, well, anything really? I know I'm driven to tell stories. Sometimes I write it or draw it or paint it or sing it. And sometimes I just tell it.
Today I'm going to share some of the stories that have stuck with me for a while. The songs I picked out also tell stories. I hope you, the audience, will make meanings of your own. And by the way, you viewers, it's okay to clap and have a good time. And I think for all these pieces, I've built in some audience participation. So be ready for that. And also, in your order of service, and I meant to say this earlier, but if you have a comment or complaint or anything, make a note in your order of service, and I brought a little cup of pencils and pens up here, and give it to me afterwards, because like everything else, this is kind of a work in progress. So if there's something you particularly liked or didn't like. And the other thing I want to say real quick is Janelle is wonderful, and she helped me so much with this service and so many other things. So I just want to make sure I acknowledge her. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Howard, named after my dad, Howard. So everybody called him Howdy. And that was fine for a while until television came along and Howdy Doody was a thing on television. And then he didn't want to be Howdy anymore. So he came home one day and he said, "My name is now Bud." So one time at Easter, when he was little, he got a little fluffy yellow baby duckling in his Easter basket. And he had read a picture book about a duck named Andrew, so he decided to name the duck Andrew. And the problem with cute little fluffy baby ducklings is they grow up to be adult ducks. So he grew and lost his yellow feathers, turned as white as snow, except for his orange beak. Bud would call, "Here, Andrew," and Andrew would come running. Andrew followed Bud everywhere. Bud ran down the street. Right behind went Andrew. Bud went to get some candy and ice cream. Right behind went Andrew. Even when Bud went to school, right behind went Andrew. And that's where the problems began. Oh, by the way, the audience participation in this is you can quack with me on the chorus. Andrew the duck said quack, 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 quack. Andrew the duck said quack, 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 can't leave me behind. My brother Bud had a duck named Andrew, followed him wherever he would go. Followed him to school one day, but the teacher wouldn't let him through the door. Andrew looked at that teacher, just as mad as he could be. Ruffled his feathers and waddled his butt, and this is what he said. Andrew the duck said quack, 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 quack. Can't hear you quacking. Andrew the duck said quack, quack, quack. Can't leave me behind. So since he couldn't go to school, he started causing all kinds of trouble. Andrew the duck ate the neighbor's flowers, chased the neighbor's dog, walked in the middle of a busy street and sat down like a log. All the cars were honking their horns, all the drivers were mad. All the neighbors said, "Get that duck out of here," but this is what Andrew said. Andrew the duck said quack, 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 quack. Andrew the duck said quack, 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 can't leave me behind. So they had a meeting, family meeting, to talk about what can we do with this duck. We can't leave him in the middle of this little town anymore. He's causing too much trouble. So my dad said, "Well, I know what. We can take him out to Carpenter's Lake. That's where we go fishing a lot. We'll see him out there." But Bud was not happy. He started crying. He said, "But how will I know which duck is Andrew?" Not thinking that most of the ducks would be wild ducks, so it'd be easy to tell them apart. So Bud had an idea. He decided to paint a black stripe around Andrew's neck. So they took him out to the lake. They took that duck out to the lake where he could be set free. Dad rode him out in an old rowboat and set him down gently. Before my dad made it back to the car, that duck was on the road. chasing us down that dusty path, and this is what he said. Andrew the duck said, quack, 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 quack. Andrew the duck said, quack, 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 can't leave me behind. So I had to think of somewhere else, somewhere they could take a duck, where there are lots of animals, not the Chinese restaurant. They took that duck out to a farm where lots of animals live. Cows and horses and sheep and pigs and chickens and geese and duck. Andrew and Bud went down to the pond, water so blue and fine. There they saw a family of ducks. And Andrew looked again. And Bud said, go on, Andrew. And Andrew followed right behind. Andrew the duck said, quack, 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 quack. Andrew the duck said, quack, 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 followed right behind. Andrew the duck is happy now, happy now, happy now. Andrew the duck is happy now, follow right behind. And that's the story of Andrew the duck. And children are now dismissed for RE, and let's see, what are we doing now? Is it time for the hymn? All right, I'm going to let Steve take over for a minute. I'm going to go put on my...
If you're willing and able, would you stand and let's sing 346. Come sing a song with me. Can we stand? Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Oh, come walk in rain with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Thank you. This week, the fourth Sunday of the month, we recognize joys and sorrows of our global community. All that is shared today comes from beyond ourselves and our fellowship, whether from the other side of the country, county, or the hemisphere. These events affect us, even if indirectly, by impacting the world we live in. This practice helps to bring and keep our awareness of losses and gifts, pain and beauty, from beyond and our beloved community and allows us to bear witness. Please raise your hand if you have something to share, and I will bring the mic to you. Briefly speak the event or situation you are calling to our attention. Please do be very brief. Hold personal sharings for third Sundays and avoid politically charged events that we may each value differently. I'll begin with the overnight events in Iran and the uncertainties of our future in that situation.
Actually, this is from Janelle, who is not able to be here, and she wanted me to read this. To note that the not-for-profit World Central Kitchen had been unable to get supplies into Gaza, and as of early May, but it's now up and running again and providing thousands of nutritious meals to the suffering and displaced people of Gaza.
May the light and warmth come to all who both need and bring it. May we grow in awareness of our global community and our care of it. And may we ever be grateful for all that we have been given. Speaking of giving, it's time for our offering. Hear these words from UU Minister Rebecca Parker as we lift our morning offering. Our vocation is to love the world through our own giving. We love, we heal, we transform, and we bless the world with our gifts. Today's offering will be shared with Habitat for Humanity. Give generously. Thank you.
I was born in a freedom jam when no one could pay my bills. My bills were as high as the clouds flying by, so I caught one and pulled it down. I was lost in a desert of water. It couldn't have been any hotter. My throat was dry and my eyes went wide as I sighted the Sea King's daughter. Land ho, land ho, land ho, 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 ho. I was sent to the heavens of hell. It was funny how high I fell. I walked on a cloud and I shouted out loud that Lucifer was my brother. We fought in a war of peace. Hostilities never would cease. One side was obscene, the other was green. We ended up switching places. Land ho, land ho, land ho, 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 ho. Lovely lady, where are you going? Can you wait for me? Slowly sinking in the deep blue water. Where did you go?
clouds flying by, so I caught one and pulled it down.
Did anybody want a pen or pencil to write me comments? Or you can just tell me later. I'll let Gordon be in charge of the pens and pencils. The prince who was afraid of crowns. Once upon a time, there was a very thin, good-looking young prince named Claude. Claude got to be prince by being the son of the king and queen. He didn't actually ask for the job, but sometimes people don't ask you what you want. They just expect you to do the best you can in any given situation. Although sometimes it's hard to decide what the exact right thing is. Claude didn't know it, but he had a huge problem. Despite this problem, which he didn't know about anyway, he was pretty much a normal boy. He liked to read comic books. He didn't like writing long sentences. Sometimes he liked to run around. Sometimes he liked to sit quietly. When he turned 9.5, an important ceremony was scheduled. It was the crowning of the prince ceremony, a very important celebration. "Son," said the king, his father, who was tall, bald, and had a very bushy mustache. "Yes, father?" "You must now call me your majesty." "Why is that?" "Because soon you will be crowned the prince, and I am the king." "Oh." "Son?" "Yes, father. Yes, your majesty." "Wednesday is the big day." "The big day?" "Yes, the day of your crowning." No one suspected that there was a problem. Now, I forgot to tell you, the audience participation in this story, I don't know if you can see it or not. I tried to make it as big as I could. So this is a little phrase that gets repeated. So you can help me out with this. So nobody knew that there was a problem. Not the teacher, not the cook, not the general, not the cleaning boy, not the spider, not the cat, not the dog, not the frog, and not even the hog, not even the master of ceremonies. Luckily, they decided to have a practice crowning. The master of ceremonies had it all set up. The servants carried the crown in on a big red pillow. As soon as Claude saw the crown, he started to scream, "Ah! Get that thing away from me! The points will jab me! The jewels will blind me! The gold will eat me! I shall be destroyed!" The servants quickly carried the crown back into the hallway of the castle. He screamed so loud that he scared the queen. She was so terrified that she ran and hid in her closet for an hour. It is odd that Claude had never seen a crown before, but maybe it was because his father rarely wore one. It hurt his bald head. And his mother had a tiny little tiara that could barely be seen with all her red hair. The king couldn't believe it. How could anyone, especially a prince, be afraid of crowns? He bent over so he could speak to his son on his own level. "Son?" "Yes, father. Yes, your majesty." "You don't have to be afraid of the crown. It is only a pretty kind of hat that princes, princesses, kings, queens, and winners of pageants wear. Does it make sense to be afraid of a little old thing like that?" "No, I guess not." "So should we try it again?" "Certainly, father. Certainly, your majesty." So the king waved his royal arm. The servants carried the crown back into the hall on the red pillow. As soon as Claude saw the crown, he began to scream, "Ah! Get that thing away from me! The points will jab me! The jewels will blind me! The gold will eat me! I will be destroyed!" The servants hurried and took it back in the hallway. Nobody knew what to do about the prince who was afraid of crowns. Not the teacher, not the cook, not the general,
not the cleaning boy, not the spider, not the cat, not the dog, not the frog, not even the hog, not even the master of ceremonies. No one knew what to do. So the king decided to consult the great wise wizardly wizard. What can be done? The prince is afraid of his crown. What can we do? The great wise wizardly wizard pulled on his long white beard. He scratched his wizardly head and tapped his wizardly fingers. Bring the boy to me, he said. Prince Claude was summoned to see the great wise wizardly wizard. Prince Claude? Yes, great wise wizardly wizard. I am going to put a spell on you. You are? Are you going to turn me into a frog? No, I'm going to make you brave around crowns. Oh, is that okay? I guess so. The great wise wizardly wizard began to wave his arms around and say amazing words. Alamajewel, Chris Columbus in a bathtub, clothespin on a duck bill, chili chili Cocoa Pops, boogity 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 snap. The great wise wizardly wizard bopped Prince Claude on the head with his magical wand. Ow, said Prince Claude. He's cured, said the wizard. As the prince started out the door with his father, the king, the great wise wizardly wizard called him back and whispered something in Claude's ear. The next day was the official prince crowning day. The stage was decorated with balloons and baboons playing bassoons. Thousands and thousands of people crowded into the castle. The people were cheering, "Hooray for Prince Claude!" The king was nervous. The queen was nervous. No one was sure if Prince Claude would make it through the ceremony without screaming. Not the teacher, not the cook, not the general, not the cleaning boy, not the spider, not the cat, not the dog, not the frog, and not even the hog. Not even the master of ceremonies. The king and queen took their place on the stage. The master of ceremonies began to speak. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs and hogs and frogs. Welcome to the official prince crowning ceremony. And now, here he is, the one, the only, Prince Claude. Everyone cheered. Prince Claude walked up the steps and sat in a big chair on the front of the stage. The signal was given. The servants carried the crown in on a red pillow. Prince Claude looked at the crown, and his mouth popped open. But before any screams could escape, he thought about what the great wise wizardly wizard had whispered in his ear. Fear is not outside, fear is inside. When you start to be scared, pretend the thing you're afraid of is really afraid of you. Prince Claude wasn't sure what this meant, but while he thought about it, he wasn't thinking about being afraid, so the scream never escaped. Before he knew it, the ceremony was over, the crown was set on his head, and he was in the banquet hall eating his favorite ice cream, peach pickle swirl. Son, said the queen. Yes, mother, yes, your majesty. Call me mommy. Yes, mommy. We are very proud of you. No one could deny that it was the best crowning day ever. Not the teacher, not the cook, not the general, not the cleaning boy, not the spider, not the cat, not the dog, not the frog, and not even the hog, not even the master of ceremonies. So, a lot of times when I write songs, like the Freedom Jail song that we played earlier, I get these ideas, and so it really started with the title. Freedom Jail was a title that my partner and my nephew Brian had an instrumental piece that he called Freedom Jail, and I thought, that's a really good title. Freedom Jail, it's like opposites. So I wrote all these contrasting, the desert of water and the heavens of hell and all this, and I thought, and the war, we're always fighting wars, and part of the excuse is we want peace, so we're going to fight a war. It's kind of like, what? So this song I'm going to do now is called Seven Faces. So we're going to try. I'm going to do it to backing tracks because I wanted you to hear Brian's contribution because he's an instrumental wizard. But this is kind of a song that I just kind of, almost in a dream, it came to me. So go ahead, Chuck, whenever you're ready. Hopefully I'll keep up with the music.
There's seven faces waiting at the door that we all must explain. 13,000 miles from the exit to my door. What a beautiful mess I created. Golden treasure that awaited for me to uncover the gold. Mary, where's your baby? Won't you marry me? Be my lady. Mary, where's your baby now? An angel melody, a song of thorns, bleeding hearts, troubled mornings. The devil came behind across the star-filled universe. Traveler's sonnet, church loft choir, singing sweetly, locomotive, silent steamship, carries me back home. Mary, where's your baby? Won't you marry me and be my lady? Mary, where's your baby now?
Sometimes it seems like the universe just hands me a bunch of words. Somewhat random. Stream of consciousness, I guess, is my consciousness. I hope you can make meaning out of these words. This song. Even if your name's not Mary.
Mary, where's your baby? Won't you marry me and be my lady? Mary, where's your baby now? Seven faces, seven places, seven planets, seven graces, one and one and one and one and one and one and one. Seven faces, seven places, seven planets, seven graces, one and one and one and one and one and one and one.
This next story, thank you. This next story was actually inspired, which I get a lot of inspiration from this fellowship, and this story was inspired when Darren Palmer was here. He read a story called Gift of a Raspberry by Martha Dallas. And it's up there on the UU website if you want to go look at it. You can read the story, but he read it to us. And I thought, that's an interesting story, but something didn't seem quite right to me about the story. So I decided to write my own version with a twist. So this is the Red Raspberry. Once upon a time, there was a gray land full of gray people. They didn't have any color. They didn't have any joy. They didn't sing or play. They worked all day in the gray dirt, growing gray food, and went home at night to sleep in their gray beds in their gray houses. Okay. Forgot the audience participation. So when I say the words red raspberry, we're going to pretend like it's a Red Robin commercial, and you're all going to go, yum. Anna was a gray girl, but for some reason, she dreamed in color. When she was sleeping, she dreamed of blue skies, green plants, and red raspberries. Yum. One day, when she awoke, there was a bluebird sitting on her windowsill. In its mouth was a red raspberry. Yum. The little bird dropped the berry on Anna's table and flew away. Anna stared at the little red berry. Oh, I forgot my prop. Anna stared at the little red berry, and her mouth watered. How good it would taste to eat something other than the gray food that she and her family and everybody she knew ate 3 times a day. How sweet and flavorful the little berry would taste. But something stopped her from eating it. She hid the red raspberry in the pocket of her dress, and when she went with her family to work in the gray fields, she dug a little hole at the end of the roll and dropped the red raspberry, yum, in the hole. And she marked it with a little twig that reminded her of the little bird that had brought her the berry. Every day she watered the little berry, and at night she dreamed. She dreamed of blue skies, green plants, and red raspberries. Yum. One day, when she got to the field, she thought she saw a tiny green plant growing where she had planted her little red raspberry. Yum. No one else seemed to see it, and at first she thought maybe it really wasn't there. The next day was bigger. Soon it was a bush dotted with little flowers of pink and white. The others still couldn't seem to see the bush, but Anna thought the people were less gray, the field was less gray, even Anna herself seemed less gray. When she looked at her hand, she thought it was browner. The bush was growing quickly. Is this in and out? Or is it staying on? Okay. The bush was growing quickly, and then Anna noticed green shoots popping up all over the field. In no time, there were raspberry bushes growing everywhere she looked. Her family seemed less and less gray every day. The sky went from gray to gray-blue to bluer to blue. Suddenly, someone laughed. People started smiling. Colorful birds sang in the trees, and soon the people were singing also. They were amazed at the colorful fruit that was growing all over their fields. Before long, the red raspberries, yum, ready to eat, and the people sang songs and picked the berries. The people baked bread and ate berries with cream, and they learned to grow other fruits and vegetables. They wove colorful cloth and made colorful clothes, and they themselves were the colors of the rainbow. They lived happily all their days, and Anna still dreams in color. She dreams of blue skies, green plants, and red raspberries. Yum. Thank you. Okay, so this next song, one reason I picked it, hopefully this microphone won't drop outside here. One reason I picked it was, again, it was inspired by a service that we had here. I don't know if you remember Ken Smith when he came and talked about stories it was called something else, so Tales, Twice Told Tales, Ken Smith. And he talked about secret handshake. And I thought, that's an interesting concept. And then something happened to me. I was on my way back from Virginia, and I stopped at a truck stop, and I went into the restroom, and I went into the stall. On the floor, there were 2 scratch-off lottery tickets. And I thought, wow, I wonder if they're winners. Of course they were winners. They were on the floor. But it was a nice dream for a minute. I found 2 scratch-off lottery tickets in a truck stop restroom stall. I dreamed that they would be winners. I dreamed that they could pay for it all. The snow is lingering on the ground too long this year. I wonder when it will go away. Is spring still on schedule? Or will we give in to fear? Learn the secret handshake of human misery, and now I see it everywhere. Don't really matter if you have a story, if you don't have anyone to tell. Now is the time for all good people everywhere to reach out our hands to each other. We don't have much time to fix our business. We don't have much time to turn around. Now in the barren ground around you, look for the one thing you can share. Red raspberries in the stinging nettles, you can pick them if you dare. Learn the secret handshake of human misery, and now I see it everywhere. Don't really matter if you have a story, if you don't have anyone to tell. I found 2 scratch-off lottery tickets in a truck stop restroom stall. See, I got the red raspberries in there. The Old Man and the Winter Haunts. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to try this. I don't know if this will work or not. Hello? Oh. The Old Man and the Winter Haunts. Once upon a time, in the dark forest, where the pine trees sway in the wind and the wolves howl at the full moon, there lived an old man. He lived alone. I'm going to take this off. I guess I can leave the hat on. But the beard was fun, but it was just a little bit. Still eating it. He lived alone, far from other people. He was the guardian of the mountain, keeping evil spirits from terrorizing the people who lived in the village below. The old man was tall and strong. His arms looked like tree limbs, his chest like a barrel. He had clear eyes that changed color depending on his mood. Green meant calm, blue meant joy, and black meant trouble. His hair of red and beard of gold was long and full of white and silver. During the day, he would cut wood, gather berries, milk his cows, gather eggs that his chickens left him. He would walk about the deep forest and visit all his animal friends. In spring and summer, he would visit the rabbits, bears, and birds. As fall slowly turned to winter, he would see fewer and fewer of his animal friends. Some flew south, some went to sleep, and some hid from the haunts that roamed the forest during the winter nights. That was when he took to napping and dreaming in the afternoon, because during the long winter nights he had to be ready to guard the village and the wide world beyond from the winter haunts. Now this is your part. Whenever I say winter haunts, you have to go, ooh. The winter haunts, ooh, only awakened when the air got cold and the snow piled up on the mountain. They flew around the dark woods on the moonless nights, screamed and screeched and scratched at his door. They were thin as ghosts, cold as ice, and terrible to look at. If any young ones were out and about, the winter haunts, ooh, would snatch them away. The old man made powerful magic that kept the winter haunts from terrorizing the town and the world below him. His magic was making books out of parchment and fine wood. He bound them together with spider silk and magic spells. His colorful illustrations would have made people weep and laugh if they could only seen them. The stories would have thrilled them if they could only read them. One whole room of the log house was piled from floor to ceiling with beautiful books. As long as the old man made books, the winter haunts, ooh, could not pass his cabin made of sweet cedar logs. So the old man kept making the books and piling them up in the special room. The winter haunts, ooh, would have loved to tear the books apart and stomp them into the snow, for they hated anything beautiful. They would have loved to tear the old man apart as well, but they dared not when the old man was making his magic, writing his stories, and painting his pictures. They could only fly through the black winter nights howling in despair. During the day, they hid in the darkest cave at the foot of the mountains. After he'd finished his daily chores, the old man would nap in his great chair with deep cushions, and he would dream wonderful dreams. At night, when the supper dishes were washed and a fire roared in the great fireplace, he would sit at his desk and write his dreams. After he was done writing, he would go to his easel and paint the illustrations until the light of dawn peeped over the eastern mountains. Then he would bind the book together with spider silk and magic spells and lovingly place it in the special room. The king of the winter haunts, ooh, knew that if he could trick the old man into giving him just one book, then the winter haunts, ooh, could fly down the mountain and have their pick of all the children in the little village that lay beneath. One night, the winter haunt king, ooh, peeked in the frosty window at the old man sitting at his writing desk. He could just barely make out some of the words the old man wrote with his big feather pen on the yellow piece of parchment. This is what the old man wrote. The little flower girl slowly walked across the cobblestones. She had a face as beautiful as the morning sun and a heart as pure as snow freshly fallen on the hillside. She walked along, calling out to anyone who might hear her. "Flowers," she said, "flowers for sale." Suddenly, the old man looked up and saw the haunt looking in. The old man jumped up with his eyes flashing black and grabbed for his axe, but the haunt was gone. The king of the winter haunts, ooh, flew through the night air with an evil plot in his mind. He flew to a clearing in the forest that was full of fresh snow, and he made a shape out of snow. He made a statue of a little girl. He put moss on the head for hair and tiny pebbles for eyes. He then breathed on it, did a dance, then he left it for the morning sun. The next day, early in the morning, there was a knock at the old man's door. He looked at the door with surprise. His friend the bear was sleeping. His friend the robin had long flown south for the winter. His friend the rabbit was away looking for food. He walked to the door and was amazed to see a young girl. She was dressed all in white. Her skin was pale. Her eyes were flat gray. Her hair was soft and brown. She smiled at him, and he felt fear. She carried a basket of flowers and looked at him with hope in her tiny eyes. "Please, sir," she said in a voice that sounded new. "Please, sir, wouldn't you buy some flowers?" "But I have no money," said the old man. But he had pity for the young girl. She must have walked up into the forest from the village down below. "Perhaps you could give me something in trade," said the little girl with a pitiful smile. The old man was afraid, but he didn't know why he should be afraid of a little flower girl. "I have nothing of value. I could give you a cake, some milk, some butter or eggs. I have no silver or gold. I have no jewels or fancy stones." "Perhaps you could give me a book," said the girl. "A book? What makes you say so?" His eyes flashed black and his voice sounded like thunder. The little girl began to cry. Her tears glittered like diamonds as they dropped to the ground. The old man's heart was softened. "Come in out of the cold," he said. The little girl hesitated. She seemed to want to cross the threshold, but something held her back. She turned and ran into the forest. The old man stepped out into the morning sunshine and watched her run. When she reached the edge of the woods, she seemed to vanish. That night, the winter haunt came back and peered in the window again. Again, he could see only a part of the story the old man was writing. This is what the old man wrote. The Queen of Alexandria swam through the blue waters of the endless ocean. Shark, her cousin, swam nearby, watching over the queen. The seabird Nestor flew above. As they approached the island of eagles, she spoke. "Call out to the winds, call out to the waves, call out to the mountains and valleys. Tell them the queen has arrived." Suddenly the old man looked up, and his eyes met the ice-cold eyes of the winter haunt. "Ooh." The old man snarled. The winter haunt, ooh, smiled. His teeth were daggers. Then he was gone. He flew to the snow clearing and built another sculpture. This one was tall, with a crown made of ice and a seabird on its shoulder. He breathed on it and did a dance, and then he flew back to the dark cave. Early the next morning, the old man heard a knock on the door. When he opened it, he was amazed to see a tall and stately queen dressed all in white with a silver crown. He could see a seabird flying over her head. "What can I do for you, your majesty?" he asked. "I have come many miles to ask of you a favor." "Ask then." "Your fame as a story maker and artist is spreading far and wide across the land. I would like to have one of your books to put in my royal library." "Come in out of the cold, your queenness," said the old man. The queen seemed to hesitate. She started to step across the threshold. Indeed, her foot crossed it and instantly melted. The old man and the queen stared down at the newly formed puddle of water. The old man's eyes flashed back black, and the queen turned and hobbled towards the trees. As she neared the woods, she dissolved into a pile of slushy snow. The old man stared and wondered. He walked back into his house and wiped sleep from his eyes. He cooked himself a breakfast of eggs, cakes, honey, and coffee. He went about his normal chores, but as he worked, he thought. And as he thought, he considered. And as he considered, he planned. That afternoon, he napped in his big cushiony chair, and he dreamed strange dreams of little flower girls and mighty queens. Soon as the supper dishes were washed, dried, and put away, he sat at his writing desk and took out a fresh sheet of parchment and dipped his feather pen in the well full of purple ink. For the third time, the winter haunt, ooh, came to the old man's window and peeked inside. He once again saw the old man writing, and he could just barely make out the words that the pen made, dancing and swirling across the parchment. Something about the words made the king of the winter haunts, ooh, want to look away, but his eyes were transfixed to the page as if by magic. This is what the old man wrote. The small, small boy with hair like the sun, walked into the mountains. As he walked, he grew bigger and stronger. Stronger and bigger he grew with every step until he was the biggest, strongest giant in the world. His face was good. Indeed, goodness shone from his face and body like a galaxy of stars. As he came to the edge of the pine forest, he saw a sword thrust into the side of the mountain. He grabbed hold of the hilt of the sword and pulled it forth. It was a lovely blue blade with many magic words engraved on it. The winter haunt struggled to look away, but he was trapped. He could feel the power of the old man envelop him. The star giant looked down at the foot of the mountains and found a small cave dark as the darkest night. It was the lair of the winter haunts. Suddenly, the giant struck the mouth of the cave with the blue sword, and the mountain cracked. Great stones, boulders, and showers of rock slid down from the cracks, filling the small black cave and trapping the winter haunts forever. The giant laughed at the howls of despair of the trapped monsters that cried out from within. When this last word was written, the old man looked up into the eyes of the winter haunt. The old man laughed as the king of the winter haunts flew away. The old man knew you can steal something once or even twice, but if you try to steal a third time, you're at the mercy of the one you would steal from. The winter haunt flew to the clearing and built a young boy out of snow. He couldn't break the spell that made him do it. When he was done, he flew away and hid in the dark cave and waited for his doom to arrive. The next morning, the old man was startled by a timid knock on the door. He opened the door, and there on the threshold was a very small boy with golden hair that shone like the sun. "The monster has sealed his own doom," said the old man. "I like that. Now I can go down to the village and visit my children and grandchildren. Go, star giant. Seal the winter haunts up in their dark cave." The winter haunts. The boy turned toward the woods. The old man could see him growing with every step. The winter haunts were never seen or heard of again. The old man visited the village, hugged his children and grandchildren, and gave books to all the children of the village. The people treasured the books, amazed at the illustrations and enthralled by the stories. He returned to the village on the same day every winter and gave away the books he had made during the year to celebrate the defeat of the winter haunts. The villagers welcomed him with feasts, songs, and storytelling. The story that was told and retold every year, the best story, the most favored story, was, of course, the story of how the old man destroyed the winter haunts. The last book the old man ever made was this story. He carried it down the hillside, and then he said goodbye to the village, goodbye to his children, goodbye to his grandchildren, goodbye to his friend the bear, goodbye to his friend the robin, goodbye to his friend the rabbit, and walked up into the mountains to seek the lands that lay on the other side.
Creativity, Carl. Thank you. Read together with me on the order of service, please, as we extinguish this chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of the commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
For the benediction, I chose some comments from Kurt Vonnegut, one of my favorite authors. And this little prelude. Art not only saves lives, it casts ripples. Kurt Vonnegut surely knew this when he replied at length to 5 New York City high school students who contacted him as part of a 2006 English assignment. The identities of the other authors selected for this honor are lost to time, but not one had the courtesy to respond except Vonnegut. And I do a little editing here. Practice any art, music, singing, dancing, acting, drawing, painting, sculpting, poetry, fiction, essays, reportage, no matter how well or badly. Not to get money and fame, but to experience becoming. To find out what's inside of you, to make your soul grow. Seriously, I mean starting right now. Do art and do it for the rest of your lives. Draw a funny picture of me or whoever and give it to them. Dance home after school or church. Sing in the shower, and on and on. Make a face in your mashed potatoes. Pretend you're Count Dracula. Here's an assignment for you tonight, and I hope your teacher will flunk you if you don't do it. Write a 6-line poem about anything. Make it as good as you possibly can, but don't tell anybody what you're doing. Don't show it or recite it to anyone. Not even your girlfriend or parents or whatever. Tear it up into teeny-weeny little pieces and discard them into widely separated trash receptacles. You will find that you've already been gloriously rewarded for your poem. You have experienced something, learned a lot more about what's inside you, and you have made your soul grow.
Miles go by, fires keep burning, world keeps turning, moth keeps dying to feed the flame. Women keep dancing, girls keep crying, men keep lying, boys keep trying to feed the flame. Feed the flame, feed the flame, find your name. Feed the flame, feed the flame, feed the flame, find your name. Feed the flame. Poison in the nectar, tastes so sweet. One victory, 2 times deadly, 3 times to feed the flame. Tempt the tempter, fall on the floor. Wonder, wonder, wonder why he feeds the flame. Feed the flame, feed the flame, keep your blame. Feed the flame, feed the flame, feed the flame, keep your blame. Feed the flame. Lead your horse to water, can't make him drink. Lead a child to the truth, can't make her think, can't make her feed the flame. Miles go by, fires keep burning, world keeps turning, moths keep dying to feed the flame. Feed the flame, feed the flame, find your name. Feed the flame, feed the flame, feed the flame, keep your blame. Feed the flame.